No! We can't repel copyright of this magnitude! Alright. We good? Okay. Start the episode. Hello, welcome to a very special episode of the Keep Tappin X podcast. It's all about Star Wars. I have two different guests with me. Blake and David are off on a mission to steal the Death Star plans, and they won't make it out alive.
Nobody does, apparently.
No. So I got two new people. I got two new people on the podcast today. Why don't you both introduce yourselves?
Well, if you've been listening, you've actually heard things I've made, but you haven't heard me. My name is Cory Croft. And I am a musician and avid Star Wars geek.
That's right. And he made the intro song to the Keep Tappin X podcast that you've all heard about 49 times now, 48 times.
You helped.
Yeah, that's whatever. You're the music man. So, what about my other guest here?
I'm Mike G, and I'm here just because I'm a Star Wars nerd and I want to figure out what the hell is going on just as much as everybody else does.
That's right. So it's Wednesday, December 13th, which means that the new Star Wars Episode 8 movie's coming out in 2 days. Technically, we're seeing it tomorrow night together.
Civilian premiere is at 7 tomorrow night.
Yeah. So we're seeing it in the old IMAX.
Yeah.
Are we? Is it IMAX? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Dope. That's fucking sweet.
So, this podcast is we're just gonna ramble on about Star Wars for about an hour. So
yeah, I want to blab about theories.
Yeah, so
what everybody thinks.
To stay on focus, or a slight bit of focus here. What was your first experience with Star Wars? Let's go with that. Your earliest memories of Star Wars. Yeah, Cory, why don't you start us off?
Oh God, I was bred into it.
Yeah.
As a child, I inherited all my dad's classic figures, like the ones from the 70s, like the Kenner ones that you had to mail in order.
Yep, the ones that are worth money now and you regret.
Yeah,
opening.
And I twisted the heads off of them when I was a 3-year-old little shit.
You still do that with your
like
sister's
that.
Barbie dolls. That's what you.
Well, I have a sister, so I had to destroy my dad's action figures. But no, my first real avid experience that I really remember is when I was a kid, really young, under 5. I had a VHS tape of Return of the Jedi, and I fucking destroyed that thing. Played it on repeat all the time, as kids do. They fixate on one movie. Mine was Return of the Jedi. It was always I always skipped the Jabba's palace thing and went from the scene where Luke goes to visit Yoda and Yoda dies.
You just skipped to that scene as a kid.
I always liked.
It's a problem.
Gotta start off on a low note.
I was 5 and I dug the Ewoks, so I had to get from that point to see the Ewoks and all that shit.
I think you were the target demographic for Ewoks.
Exactly,
That's why.
Exactly. But as I got older, I had a ridiculous appreciation for Empire Strikes Back, as we all do, and that ranks pretty much up there as the number one favorite for me. A close second.
We'll talk about favorites soon.
Yeah.
We'll talk about favorites soon.
My close
Spoiler.
second pisses people off.
Yeah? Uh-oh. Yeah. We'll see. It is a Christmas story.
Yes, it is. How did you know?
Mine's the Lego one with the Yoda Chronicles, That's got to be
is that a thing?
Michael, yeah, it's a thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The holocron journeys of Lego Yoda.
Thought you were going to say Holocaust. The Holocaust journeys with Yoda.
Yeah, he teams up with Magneto right out of the camps.
What
Two
about
most badass Jews in the universe.
What about you, Mike?
Happy second day of Hanukkah, guys.
What is your earliest memories of Star Wars?
Earliest memories of Star Wars would be our dad. He was always into Indiana Jones and by extension Harrison Ford, so Han Solo was always a fan favorite in the house. We even had a dog named Chewie growing up.
Yep.
So, going back to that was probably for me, I think Empire was my first exposure where I would remember it. And the Hoth battle was just so intense and big and larger than life. So when we went to Disney as a kid, they had the whole setup. When you went into, I forgot which part of Disney it was, but they had like the snow speeder on the ground in a pile of snow and an AT-AT leg about to crush it. So you could,
I didn't know they
climb
had
in.
like Star Wars stuff at Disney. So like before now, now that they own it.
Oh yeah, no, they did back then. I remember that was like the only thing I remember because when we went, I was like 5 and you were a newborn.
Yeah.
So I like remembered 2 things about the entire trip, and that was one of them. Was the snow speeder. I was like, you couldn't climb in it. You couldn't. You know what I mean? It was like behind velvet ropes, and I'm like looking around, like, how do I get in this freaking thing? I'm gonna take off in it. Nobody's gonna know.
You got 3 security guards standing there, not even letting you breathe on it.
Yeah, right.
Are you Star Troopers? And they just butt you with like a stick.
With a Mickey Mouse nightstick.
My earliest memory was of Empire Strikes Back because we used to have the, the classic 3-movie VHS set that like everybody had, and I have it in the trunk of my car right now from a yard sale or something.
I have a 3-pack one right now that I actually got from a coworker. That's the original cut of A New Hope. And
oh, that's awesome.
I want to watch it so bad, but at the same time, I don't want to fucking touch it because I don't want to ruin it.
Oh yeah. I remember it because I used to always watch it at the end or the beginning where they used to have commentary from like the creators.
Ooh,
but as a kid, I didn't give a crap about the old guys talking about Star Wars because they would flash scenes of the movie of like the Battle of Hoth and like and whatnot. So I would always just like. I'd see them talk. I'd be like, fast forward, but you see them move fast, VHS style, and then it'd show a battle. I'd be like, play, and I'd be like, oh,
and just like checking out the abridged version, the highlight reel of the movie.
You realize how much of an oxymoron this is? We're on a podcast talking about VHS.
Oh my god!
Half of your listeners are not even going to understand what the fuck we're talking about.
You're like, how fucking old are these guys?
That's okay. I'll put retro in the tags.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll get us the views. So. So that's my earliest memory, watching Empire.
I feel like that's the only way you can watch the original trilogy. It's like with good classic music, you have to listen to a vinyl. With Star Wars, the original trilogy, you have to watch it on VHS.
Yeah.
Hell fucking yeah.
I have the trilogy on VHS. It's the only way to watch it.
I love that we all do. We all own it on VHS.
It's like nobody owns these anymore, but we do.
Yeah.
Just for Star Wars.
You have to do it before they add in like the no. I know in Return of the Jedi when Vader throws Sidious and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
or when Han's head all of a sudden moves to the side.
Yeah,
that's another thing about that. Just reminded me about Return of the Jedi. Part of the way that I fucked up the VHS tape that I had from when I was a kid was my dad told me that you could see Darth Vader's skeleton when he was getting electrocuted by the Emperor before he threw him in the pit. So I just kept pressing stop, pause, play, pause, whatever, and I fucking wore out the tape so that when it would play up to that point when he was about to throw the Emperor in, it would just turn into static until he threw him in, and then it would come back and start playing like normal again.
It's unlimited power.
I fucking destroyed
so much
it.
power to destroy the VHS.
But I never caught it. I never got like a really good glimpse of it up until I was able to like Google it.
Yeah, right. Now
catch somebody get a screenshot
now
of
you
it.
can pause and continue all you want.
Yeah.
But
watch it in slow motion. Watch it in reverse. Have him fucking force pull the Emperor back up from the pit.
I think we can talk about the old, but let's talk about the new very briefly. Because episode 8 is coming out tomorrow, or tomorrow night. Already out for critics and whatnot and showings. But what did you guys think of episode 7?
Yeah, nobody wants to make enemies on this one.
But before we go any further, because we sound like a whole bunch of fucking purists.
Yeah,
I know you feel me on this.
Yeah,
and Mike, I'm pretty sure you do too. We are not prequel haters.
Hell no.
Because the prequels came out at a time where we were young and
still
incredibly naive.
Yeah.
And
we had the hope.
Yes, we did. And we all owned Jar Jar Binks action figures. And we
if only to strap them to rockets like that kid from Toy Story.
Yeah. But we all got sad when Qui-Gon died.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we all got mad when Darth Maul died.
Have you seen the deleted scene where Jar Jar Binks dies?
Yeah, that's when he falls off. Yeah, he falls off the fucking the waterfall in Feed.
Yeah.
When they get off the bongo.
Oh, it's great. It's literally just him falling.
Yeah, remember when they were in fucking Otagonga and Boss Nass gives them the ship and tells them they have to go through the planet core.
Yeah.
So they hop in the boat thing, the submarine, and they swim through the planet core.
Yeah, they get chased by that monster.
Yeah. Well, when they pop up out of the water, when they're in Feed City, and then they just like jump over to the that dock system, they cut the scene from that point where they pop up out of the water and the two are Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon hop over onto the dock, and then for some reason Jar Jar can't find his way like to the dock, even though he can like swim and breathe underwater.
He like, doesn't
and shit.
escape the ship fast enough.
Yeah, and the ship gets taken by the current and like gets pulled off. Like if my phone was like this, like it would go like this, and then start teetering, and fucking Jar Jar just fell with the ship and died.
And no one gave a shit. Like
Obi-Wan
and
Obi-Wan and
like,
Qui-Gon,
no!
they looked over at each other, shrugged, and then kept going. And they're like, all right, let's go find the
pretty
queen.
much 90% of fans' reaction if that had happened. You know, even like his appearance in Clone Wars was like, what does he do?
He was just comic relief and he kept bumbling everywhere, and that's just what he is.
Like, how many battles can this guy win that way, though? That's like, I mean, after the first, like, episode 1, when he, like, basically single-handedly defeats the droid army by being a Three Stooge, you know, like, with...
in one
somehow. Like, I don't know.
Do you know about the ridiculous, stupid fan theory about how he managed to pull off all of his stupid mishaps?
Oh, God.
The theory is that he was supposed to be a Sith Lord.
Yeah,
I remember seeing stuff like that.
Because of the bad reaction he got from episode 1, like, George Lucas didn't have the balls or whatever to write him in as the new villain in episode 2 or something. I think it's so, like, stupid. It reminds me of, the theory about like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, with how Ferris was a illusion in Cameron's mind the whole time. Like
it's like
it's
lazy
fun to
storytelling.
Watch, like, it's fun to watch the movie with that thought process and try to pick and choose which details line up to it. And you could do the same thing with the Jar Jar thing, but in the end, it's stupid and it's really contrived.
Jar Jar is a product of his time, right?
Yeah.
He's a character who, like, around 2001, 2000, early 2000s over there, you had a lot of characters who were just like, we're wacky, like, wacky, goofy characters, you know?
Right. He was the last leg of the dying cartoony stereotyping thing of, like...
Well, they even tried to make like an evil version of Jar Jar in the video games. Force Unleashed had one.
I remember him.
Choppa, I think was his name. Choppa Natimo or something.
The shitty like junkyard planet.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that.
And it's like, what the fuck is Jar Jar doing here? You know, and he's got like one eye and he looks like a pirate.
Yeah. But we didn't.
Ord Mantell, I think.
We did not come here to talk about Jar Jar. Back to the question.
Fuck that asshole.
What did I think of episode 7?
All right.
We digressed hard, but what I wanted to say, the point I wanted to make was, we didn't completely groan because we hate all the new shit. Yeah. And we're prequel lovers and everything else can suck it. I just wanted to clarify that. The reason why we groaned is because I think, anyway, I know we talked about it before, but I feel that episode 7 was a very safe product and predictable. And it was something that we've seen before.
It's called The New Hope.
Exactly.
With a little bit smaller of a space station.
A lot of people like this movie. Like, a lot of people love this movie when it came out.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it.
I
love the characters.
I hate it.
I love the characters a lot, but I also hate the shit out of Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
I remember the first day you're like, I don't like Poe.
No, you know why?
That's why.
Within the first 10 minutes, he blew all of his chances with me. Because, like, he's talking to that old guy character that got killed 2 minutes later. Yeah. Who's like, oh, by the way, here's the fucking piece of the map. Now put that in your BB unit and take off. And he's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go hop over to my ship and fly over to Princess Leia. Thanks a lot for that. And he goes to do that, and then the First Order invades, and the ship fucking comes down. Kylo comes out. It's just like A New Hope. It's just like the very beginning of A New Hope. Fucking Leia puts the information into R2, and then fucking they get boarded by Vader.
Story beats.
And so
the pacing was almost identical.
Yeah, and when he gets apprehended by the stormtroopers and brought over to Kylo Ren and thrown down on his knees, there was this moment of tension where Kylo is standing over him, and they're about to speak, and he goes. That fucking asshole looks over to him and goes, so, who talks first? You talk first? I talk first. And I was instantly like, oh my god, I hate Poe Dameron so fucking much.
That put me off. That was like the worst thing.
It's very frustrating at that point Kylo Ren wasn't like, fuck this.
I would have like fanboyed like a maniac if as soon as he said that, Kylo ignited his lightsaber and fucking beheaded him. Like, don't backsass me, motherfucker.
Yeah, just
I'm the new big badass in the galaxy. And I take no shit.
It was a weird sort of invalidation to Kylo's character, where 1 minute he blocks a a bolt, a laser bolt, and
Not
you're just
just
like, this is
blocked it.
amazing. No, you caught it with the force.
He held it effortlessly and carried conversation.
And then all of a sudden, this like random rebel, resistance pilot is just like,
Yeah, that just didn't seem right. It left a sour taste in my mouth immediately too. I remember that part as being like, I remember right at the theater, right when it happened, we looked at each other like, what?
Yeah.
Did he just?
I mean, I liked it better in the older movies where like Vader's choking people out and everybody's afraid of him. Like that's the way this guy should have been. He should have been fucking terrified.
You know what I think it was? I think they were trying to imitate when Leia was giving Vader shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Lord Vader, only you could be so bold. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but
And
that
he's
works
like,
for
fuck you,
Leia.
bitch.
Like,
Yeah, she has like diplomatic immunity, right? In a chat, like she has the
Actually,
title to be like.
She was on a diplomatic mission from Alderaan.
That's what made it feel more real, right? Or more understandable.
She had a believable
like
cover story.
Poe's just like, I'm in the desert. Like, I can't think of shit.
Yeah, Poe's like, I have no fucking excuse.
Well, the fact of the matter is, why did he even need to come up with a cover story where, like, why is the First Order such a big deal right now? Where, like, and why is the Resistance?
yeah, I
I'm
felt like a
sorry.
lot was rushed.
Ambiguity, sir.
No, I'm getting
Because
ahead
they
of
haven't
myself.
figured it out yet, and they're leaving it up to the new writers of the expanded universe.
I'm just saying, it's just like, why? Who cares if the second Death Star blew up if they can just make Starkiller Base?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it was kind of anticlimactic.
It pisses me off that they named it Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
I think
There should be a Starkiller character.
I think we're darting around.
Yeah, they need to bring back the dude from Force Awakens and make him canon again.
Hell yeah.
Like, fuck.
And they need to bring in what's her name? Luke's girl.
Oh, Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a theory about Rogue One. Okay, this was before, after I saw Episode 7, and then I found out that they were doing Rogue One. When that first trailer came out for Rogue One, and it showed the female lead character, Jyn Erso. When it showed Jyn Erso in the Imperial fatigues, when she like hops onto the planet at the end and then fucking beats up the dude and steals his costume. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah, it's a cool ass movie, but it's only really worth watching once. But
That's so true.
you know, for that last half, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But my theory about it was because when I only saw the trailer and it showed a female character in an Imperial costume, I was like, holy fuck, that's Mara Jade.
Yeah, until
And
you see
I
she
thought
doesn't
it
have
was-
red hair, and you're like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, what's going on?
What my theory is that they were going to make Rogue One super relevant by having it be a movie about Mara Jade's like abandonment of the Empire and hopping over to the Rebellion.
That would have been cool.
And because then it would have bridged the gap to explain the origin of Rey's parentage. Because
Right.
then they could explain that in Episode 8, and Luke could be like, well, I knew this chick, and her name was Mara Jade, and she was a defector, and I met her, and then you happened.
Yeah.
And that would have been really cool, and that would have sat right with me. What bothers me now is if they introduce Rey's parentage as anything other than Han and Leia or two random throwaway characters you've never met, they can't explain it satisfactorily for me, because it just there's not enough build up and there's not enough attachment, I think, for any other characters.
That makes sense. I can agree with that.
So I was really hoping that they would do that and make her Mara
They could pull an
Jade's
Anakin,
daughter.
just be like, the Force bred her.
They're
Well,
moving away from midi-chlorians, I
That
heard.
brings me to another thing I've been kind of pondering over the past couple of weeks is trying to figure out who Rey's parents could possibly be, because that's everybody's main question over all of this. And
It's
like I
Snoke.
said,
It's no.
He's asexual. He's like Godzilla. He doesn't need a partner. He just bred Rey from the Force in his disgusting loins.
He just took off a piece of his head and like,
Yeah.
turned it into her.
I'm
It
like-
still hasn't grown back, folks.
I'm dead sold on the idea that she is a Skywalker, but not necessarily. If she isn't Han and Leia's, I do still think that she may be Leia's. By an immaculate conception thing like Anakin
Lando.
with his mom. Oh yeah.
It's just a fair
When Han left, Lando swooped in like,
Hey there, baby.
you old smoothie.
Han didn't tell you? He lost you to me for the night in a poker game.
But
Game of Pizzazz.
if we get into expanded universe talk a little bit, I feel that the plot twist is going to be that her and Kylo are brother and sister, and they're just going to do a retelling of the Jaina and Jason Solo thing from the expanded universe that they're cutting in.
I can see
leaning
that.
that way, right?
Yeah, it does look like that.
This episode 8, as I'm starting to look at like trailer and stuff, it seems like, and I really hope this isn't the case, it's going to be a retelling of Empire, You have the Hoth speeder with the AT.
You've
What
got
are
the
they
brother
called now?
sister
They're
revelation.
they're
ATRTs
or something like that. It's something weird.
It's like AA.
AA, yeah, I think it's like AA something. Anyway, you have that kind of shot going in with whatever those speeders are that shoot.
There was an
red
ice
dust.
Arctic fox thing.
We have the training with an elder Jedi kind of thing, and we also have probably going to find out whose Rey's parents are.
Yeah,
so we're
that's
going to
be
get
the big "I am your father."
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. But.
Well, that's the George Lucas's ring theory, like personified. Disney's taking
that's
it.
That's right.
And
The rhyming. Yeah, a story has to rhyme.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
That's his theory with all of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the ring theory thesis?
No, I haven't.
There's a website that breaks down all the details of the ring theory and how different movies correlate to one another, and how like the introductions of certain movies correlate, like episodes 1 and 6 correlate to each other, and 2 and 5 correlate to each other, and then 3 and 4. But like down to the cinematography.
Yeah.
Where like
if
if something happens on the
shots.
left side of the shot, like with like good guy character, at the exact equal and opposite moment in the opposite movie, something like bad happens to the negative evil character on the right side of the shot.
I mean, it's cool that people
it's
pick
wild.
that out, but at the same time, I feel like it's going forward, it's going to make the movies too predictable. Like that was the case with, I mean, in my opinion, with the last movie.
The Force
Oh, yeah,
Awakens.
With the Force Awakens, it was just too predictable. Like we felt that ring, you felt it the whole fucking movie. You're like, oh god, here it comes again. And then you see Starkiller Base, and you're like, really, seriously.
That's what
Another space
did it for me, man. That's when I was done with that movie. Everything that plot point, that conflict.
No, you were done when they
represents
killed Han, Colby. Don't lie. You were done.
Yeah, I was bummed at that.
He was like in denial. It was like
No, because I was like, Kylo Ren killed Han. Fuck that, man. Nobody can kill Han. He's Han Solo. But no, I'm also bummed that Chewbacca didn't rip the arms out of every stormtrooper in that like base.
Yeah, I mean, if they can show Darth Vader going ape shit and holding guys to the ceiling and cutting them in half, they should be able to show like, yeah, I feel that. You feel that freaking force power. You're like, oh my god.
Let's think for a moment. What were the big key points of Empire Strikes Back?
One of the biggest points is him when he finally uses the Force to pull his lightsaber to him for the first time.
Yes.
When he's held upside down. Yeah, that was a huge scene for me.
I think we're safe on that point in this new movie because Rey did that. We got Invasion of Hoth. So we can skip by the first time he was using the Force.
I think Harrison Ford would rather crash another plane than do another Star Wars movie, so we can rule out the Force Ghost Han Solo.
We got Cloud City and like a big betrayal.
Cloud City is Act 3.
Yeah, I think we might get a betrayal in this movie of some kind. I'm thinking like somebody in the rebellion, like a friend that we haven't met yet, a Lando, so to say, is going to betray them. Perhaps a callback to Rebels in some modicum would be really cool here.
Yeah,
you know what
I would love to see them tie it all together. That's one thing I loved what that Marvel has done better than DC, and like going off of Star Wars for a second, is that they can tie everything together in such a nice way that fits.
Oh yeah,
and
their pacing is great for that kind of thing. And they've been building blocks since the early 2000s to do this the right way.
Right, and I feel like if Disney, now that they've got complete control, like the way they do, they should tie Rebels in a really satisfying way because it's an awesome show and it deserves its own merit. So,
Rebels is to talk about that briefly. Rebels is an awesome show. I don't think you've seen Rebels yet, Cory, right?
I know bits and pieces. I know of the characters, and I know certain plot elements and stuff like that, and I know that they bridge together with Clone Wars because of Ahsoka Tano's character, and I think that's so fucking
And you
cool,
see clones, like the original like Rex and stuff
I
like
know
that.
you see
they become
everything.
rebels.
Yeah.
Everything that you wanted to see in Clone Wars, you get to see in Rebels, and that's what's so satisfying for me. Is like when you see Ahsoka battle Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That was like
I've seen clips and stuff on like YouTube of certain moments from the show, like really pivotal scenes like that.
Yeah.
I watched the Kenobi Mall battle.
So good. It is so good, that fight.
I knew you were gonna gush about it. I originally hated it.
I loved it.
I didn't like how brief it was, and then I understood why it was so brief. After like I chewed it over, and then I watched it again like a month later, and I was like, all right,
It's when
this
he
is
like
like a samurai duel.
Yeah, that's what made it so powerful.
Yeah,
it's when like you could see how the animators and the writers are like, let's fit so much nuance into this scene to where
they
like
treated that scene with so much respect.
It's like when he switches to Qui-Gon's stance in the middle of the fight. Like, and it's so great because they don't need to say anything. They could have ruined it by having Darth Maul being like,
all typical villainy. And
yeah, that was your master's stance, and I'll kill you just like I killed him. And, like, that would have been awful.
Yeah, they did it great.
And he tried doing the headbutt thing with his lightsaber to exactly give Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan was like, no.
Yeah, he owned him, dude.
Yeah. It was like, dude, I've had 30 years to mull this over. I know how to beat you with his move.
That was amazing. I remember watching that on like YouTube and stuff, and a lot of people were like shitting on it.
Yeah, people were pissed because it wasn't flashy.
Yeah, but that's what made it great for me. I mean, it made it all the more satisfying because I've been waiting for that moment for years. I've been like, okay, this guy got cut in half, somehow survived, somehow managed to make it through the Clone Wars, and he still got this hard-on for Obi-Wan. You know it is going to come to a head. And I'm like, oh, is it going to be one of those campy battles where it's like 20 minutes long? Yeah. I hope it's not.
The Dragon Ball Z Frieza versus
it's like
Goku,
6 seasons. They die of old age before they even finish the fight.
What I really liked about that too is that they retconned the original permanent death of Darth Maul, because they did it in a Dark Horse comic, I believe. And Darth Maul randomly decided, like, he remembered one day that he hated Obi-Wan for cutting him in half, so he decided to show up on Tatooine and find him. He jumps old Obi-Wan and like starts seriously whooping his ass. And then out of nowhere, Uncle Owen is like sniping Womp Rats in the distance and sees Obi-Wan getting his ass kicked by Darth Maul, so he just fucking snipes him in the head in the distance. And Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen like do like this brief weird like nod, like thanks for the heads up, bro. Okay, cool, thanks. And then they both go their separate ways without a single word to each other.
That would have been satisfying too.
I guess, but like
that. Anything but the typical. I don't want it to be predictable. Yeah. Like that's what's been killing the series for me.
I don't like the implications of Uncle Owen being the one that killed Darth Maul.
Yeah, that
like, dude, you got burnt to a crisp by Imperial forces, which I still believe was Boba Fett.
Yeah,
but that's another. If we want to get into some conspiracy shit, I think Boba Fett was hired to kill Uncle Owen in Aunt Beru.
Well, yeah, just the fact that the flamethrower was the choice of weapon when most stormtroopers on Tatooine didn't have that.
Yeah, like they didn't even introduce other classes of stormtrooper at that point. Like there were no like assault troopers or shit. Well, actually, no, there were heavy troopers because they had like the dudes with the backpacks riding dewbacks.
Oh yeah,
with the orange.
Like, with the shoulder pad
command, thing. Strap. Like I don't know. It was weird. It looked really kind of like two Velcro together. Like
do you think? Guys, I've been a stormtrooper 25 years and I just got my shoulder pad. You gotta work hard for your shoulder pad. You want a shoulder pad like mine? You need to put in good service to the Empire. You hear?
I've been playing Battlefront for 4.5 decades.
That's another point. Do you think in episode 8 we're gonna see a bounty hunter?
Ooh.
Or I think the role of the bounty hunter is going to be played by Captain Phasma.
Oh god,
essentially.
Yeah. She's the.
We have a lot of characters to work with in this new movie.
If we go by the repetition, echoing ring theory thing that Lucas established, and Disney is paying respect to that and abiding by that, then Phasma is definitely the Boba Fett of the new trilogy.
Unless they tie in with Rebels, because if so, I mean, they've kept the Mandalorians alive, and they've got Sabine. She's a member of the Rebel crew. She becomes like a huge.
She's the pink Boba Fett character.
Yeah, she's awesome, dude. She's like a graffiti artist, and she tags up all the stormtrooper outfits and stuff when they capture them. It's cool. She's
cool.
She's awesome.
She gets the darksaber, doesn't she? I think
she does, and she beats what's his name for it?
From the
Fen Rao.
Yeah, and what are they called?
Death's Head.
Death's Head.
Yeah, she like takes over. Like her mom's like the queen of Mandalore or some shit. So
I would love to see some mainstream live action Mandalorian respect from the Star Wars movies.
We very well might get it. Did you hear about Rian Johnson's new deal?
No.
Disney just handed him a trilogy.
Oh, that's right.
They're like, dude, here you go. Do what you please.
Mm-hmm. And
he's already said he's not doing the Old Republic.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna do post.
So Old Republic is off the table. But that still leaves a giant area. To play with.
Boba Fett. We know he didn't die in the Sarlacc pit.
I wouldn't even want a Boba Fett movie. No. I want just like a new trilogy.
Yeah.
Like away from Skywalkers, away from about the Resistance and First Order.
I don't know if I wanted away from the Skywalkers. They are the prime focus of everything.
It's too much. It's like gonna get into inbreeding now. It's gonna be real bad. Like
no, I mean, I want
royalty
echoing things. Like again, going along with that, I want things to be relative to them. Like it'd be cool if they redid what the fuck was the storyline?
With fun. No, I'm sorry. Go on.
With Cade.
Oh, with Darth Krayt.
Darth Krayt,
Yeah.
and Talon,
Yep.
and
That's post Yusufan War.
yes, that's 130 years after Return of the Jedi, so
Yeah.
that's like way past Yusufan.
Yeah. Although they're mentioning it because Darth Krayt was like abducted by.
Yeah,
them.
he had. That's how he
The
got his armor.
Yeah.
Because it was like biotechnology or something.
We could talk for a trillion years about expanded universe, all that stuff.
Bro, I just read Dark Empire.
Yeah.
The book where Luke joins the dark side.
The dark side.
Oh my god, it was so cool.
The novelization. Shout out! Don't listen to the abridged version of the audiobook for the Dark Empire. I believe it's still called. It's awful. It's
Yeah.
the version I read because
Yeah.
I didn't know the difference between unabridged and abridged books, and it was bad. It's just like Luke's like, I'm gonna turn evil because I want to know what the dark side's like, and for the whole book he's just like, why did I do this? But I'm still gonna do it. It's just I don't know.
He did it because they get into it more. I'm reading the graphic novel, and the reason why he was doing it was because he knew that if the Emperor kept cloning himself, he would eventually have to give in and join him. So he figured the only way to get close to him would be to join him and double cross him and end it once and for all. But he got succumbed in it, and like he couldn't find his way out on his own. So then Leia had to step in, which I thought was also really cool.
Yeah, it's safe to say they won't be able to do that now that Carrie Fisher's off the table.
So here's a question we can just like dismiss right away. Do you think Luke Skywalker is going to turn evil in The Last Jedi?
No,
and I don't think it's going to be Rey either.
No. Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think Disney has the balls.
No, I think if they're gonna have anybody being a turncoat in this episode, it's gonna be Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I agree.
That seems to be the implication.
He's gonna find out he's her brother, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing?"
He's gonna be like, "Oh,
I
son
just
of a
killed
bitch,
my
I killed
dad."
my dad." Fuck, man.
Luke
This
is gonna
sucks.
like scold him like a bad child, slap him on the wrist, and be like, "Dude,
I-
you don't want me to spank you? Just come back."
I think one thing a lot of people are forgetting are the Knights of Ren are still a thing.
Yeah, dude. There's like 6 more of him.
There's like 6 villains out there that we have not seen yet.
Also, can we talk about how they completely ripped off Darth Revan?
Yeah.
Actually, how this whole thing is kind of a complete giant ripoff of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
You think?
We have a British chick that uses a staff.
Yeah.
We've got a Wookiee.
Yep.
We've got an old guy mentor. We have a pasty old bald guy who's the main villain.
It's funny how a lot of Star Wars stuff follows a formula.
The Knights of the Old Republic one was way better.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see them do live-action versions of Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, Revan and Bane would be awesome to see.
Oh god,
I wouldn't even mind seeing like fully like actual HD or just remakes of those games with
Yeah.
modern gen.
Would be very nice
Absolutely.
too, is if they have the space now, like to establish doing it. Would be just to mash the 2 games together into one thing.
Oh yeah, they did do that.
You play the character from beginning to end. Your dude from the very beginning of KOTOR becomes Revan midway through, and then it just keeps rolling from there.
Yeah.
Spoiler: you are Revan.
Yeah. But I think I don't know with episode 8. I don't think Rey's going to turn evil. I agree.
And
I
hate
think
that they're implying that.
Kylo turning good would be, or at least he's going to kill his mother, and
You
then
think so? You think he's gonna kill Leia?
Well, I don't think they were going to until she died. And then they're like, okay,
yeah, they
now
might
we
be writing
gotta-
her off that way.
it's not like she's going to be like, well, I'm going to go to Coruscant and
But do you
chill
think?
out for a while.
Do you really think that they would have Kylo kill her if they're planning on redeeming him? Do you think they would have him kill off Princess Leia?
Maybe not. Maybe he has his finger on the trigger and he's like, I can't do it, and then Snoke does it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say what would be even cooler would be if Phasma did it,
Yeah.
because that would give her some credibility because she's just been
Thrown down a
That-
trash
I don't think-
compactor so far.
yeah, she got completely fucking
I don't think it's going to happen because that's not her.
punked out.
That's the wrong story arc. That's her. That's
True,
Finn.
I know she's going after Finn,
Mm-hmm.
but she is an Imperial, and if the opportunity arose and she's like the top stormtrooper now, like
I don't even think she'll be there.
yeah.
I don't even think she and Finn have their storyline, and Poe.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
even
and-
know what Poe's storyline is. He kind of shows up in X-wings like whoa, like that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know who his.
He's their excuse to
conflict
have
is.
space battles.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Him and Finn are gonna make out for the whole movie. But
You never know. We were just talking about that. I think they're gonna be putting transvestite bathrooms on the new Starkiller base.
yeah, Starkiller Base 2.
I saw an article recently that was like, because everyone's debating the identity of Snoke, and someone was basing their theory on Snoke being a woman based on the fact that his action figure in the Black Series, like the really high quality ones they're making now, he has a cloth robe. And they were implying that when they took off the cloth robe off of the Snoke figure, he didn't have genitals.
What the fuck?
Bro, it's a fucking action figure. Like,
John.
Han Solo doesn't, but he's all man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can find out plot significance and stuff like that based on the merchandise, and I'm not saying you can't, but you're not gonna try to figure out the identity of a character based on whether or not he's got Barbie or Ken's parts.
Yeah. This is when we find out, episode 8, that Mon Mothma is Snoke.
Dude, that would actually be a beautiful twist.
I just saw something with Mon Mothma in it, and it tied her to the Star Wars canon from older times, like before Han was all gray. It was like a video.
She was in Rogue One.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that was when he was still all gray. What? No. He wasn't gray in Rogue One, was he?
No, he's young Han. That was before A New Hope.
What the fuck was I watching? I was watching it the other night, and I was like half asleep, and I just saw she's like, "Where's my Wookiee?" It wasn't Rogue One, but I can't remember what
Mon
it was.
Mothma's a great character.
Are you talking about Maz?
Oh yeah, that's what
you're
I'm
talking
talking
about.
Maz
about.
Kanata from fucking. She was in
wait a
episode 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope they expand on that
Yeah.
with her and Chewbacca.
Yeah, that would
Because
be cool.
oh god, if they go back there and fucking she finds out that Han died, like
I think she's gonna play a bigger role in this
Chewbacca
movie.
comes back with a porg, like my emotional support animal, and I'm
Maybe
sad.
she'll talk
because
about
my
how
best
she
friend
got
died.
the freaking lightsaber.
Yeah, I want to know what that's all about.
Yeah, and
That's
how
the one
much
he
of a
dropped
fucking...
after he cut his hand cut off, right?
Yeah, investment.
Dude, there was such a cop out when they are like Rey asked her where she got the lightsaber, and she's like, "That's a story for another time." And then they start getting attacked by the fucking First Order.
Yeah.
Like that is such a bullshit cop out. Like if they knew what the fuck they were doing with that anyway, what they should have done was have her give her like half a sentence of an answer and then get interrupted with an explosion.
Right,
Like,
you don't take
don't
the
be
easy
like,
way
oh
out.
no, that's a story for another time. Like
That just leaves you like with the kick in the crotch. You're
That's
like,
just
yeah.
bad storytelling.
yeah,
Yeah.
our writers haven't figured it out yet, so we're not gonna say it.
That's pretty much
Like,
what that's
fuck
quote for.
you, we're not stupid. We know you haven't thought that far ahead, and don't even like leave it up to the expanded universe writers to figure out.
Right.
Before we go into like favorite movies and stuff, let's say
Not
something.
episode 7. That's
I was
for
gonna say,
sure.
let's say something a bit positive about episode 7. Something we may have liked about it. Maybe, that we're looking forward to. I liked the new characters. I like Rey and Finn, and I even like Poe. I know you don't, but I like Poe. Kylo. The more I thought about him, I liked him more. But
I really
need
like
to know more about
Kylo.
him.
I really do. I get a lot of shit for that. He's the one thing that I actually did like about episode 7. What a lot of people seem to gloss over by laughing at him and calling him emo and shit with his outbursts and stuff like that. Anger is the strongest tool of the dark side, and he's got a lot of it.
But that's the problem. Like, where is his anger coming from? Why is he evil? What's his motivation? We don't know yet.
That's what I want to know. Like,
he's
what
like-
the fuck is he throwing temper tantrums about? He
He's a
basically
rich kid, right?
He's spoiled. Like, he's the product of the heroes of the resistance. Like, he
think
should be like pampered.
What I'm hoping is they get into some flashbacky type shit to explain it. Personally, I think that episode 7, I think we've talked about this before. This sounds crazy to say, but I feel that episode 7 should have been episode 10. And I'll explain here what I mean is I feel that there should have been a trilogy in between the original and the new one right now.
I
What
agree
I
with
think
that.
it should have been...
Feels like we got dropped in the middle of it.
what I feel that it should have been was that it should have kind of replicated what happened in 1 through 6, but in a new way, in the sense that episode 7 should have been Luke trying to restart the Jedi Order, and then he introduces Kylo, and then they introduce a character like an old character like fucking Kyle Katarn. and Kyle Katarn gets assigned to have Ben Solo, his apprentice, and then Kyle Katarn dies somehow, and then Ben Solo becomes close to a master or whatever, and he gets an apprentice, and they go along that route, and then the Jedi Order falls apart because Kylo learns something new and turncoats just like Anakin, and everything falls apart, and that's the end of 9, is Ben Solo becomes Kylo Ren. And then we get into the version of episode 7 that I would personally make episode 10. You introduce Rey as one of those Jedi that was in the new Jedi Order. She gets dropped off on the other planet, Jakku, because she was being protected, and then she's like the new chosen one to bring balance to the Force once again.
I would have liked to start with like an older, like she knew where she came from, and it becomes a story of vengeance from a Jedi's perspective, and her being conflicted with the fact of like, I've learned all these, the Jedi way, but I'm going towards the dark side, and then that's when we go into Gray Jedi, right?
Yeah, like Ahsoka. I mean, basically.
Exactly. She was just like, I don't like what's going on.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not a Jedi, but I will kick your ass as such.
I'm getting the vibe that they're leaning towards a Gray Jedi role for her for episode 8. Because I feel like Luke is like, I'll teach you how to manage your powers, but I'm not going to give you the morality.
Yeah.
I'm done with trying to coach people on their lives because I clearly fucked up.
Yeah, clearly doesn't.
You saw the Jedi Temple in flames, so he screwed up somewhere down that line.
I think the best part of this movie, and what I'm going to take away most from it, is going to be his scenes with Rey telling him, like in the trailer, like, the Jedi are gone. The Jedi were flawed to begin with. Nobody wanted to admit it. I'm the last one here. I'm admitting it now. We need something new. Yeah, and it's not the Jedi. So, and that's what I think is. If they do that, that's gonna be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I really want to see is Luke fight. I want to see Luke pull a lightsaber.
I want to see him pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
Oh god.
I want to see him do some serious heavy duty shit before they kill him off.
Dude, if Luke dies, we riot.
Yeah.
If they kill Luke, then I'm fucking done.
Luke was more of a saber master than he was a Force user, if I remember from Expanded Universe stuff, right? Like, he wasn't big into,
like... He was, like, number one. I mean, he was the fastest with a lightsaber, but he was pulling some kick-ass shit. He mastered light side Force lightning.
Yeah, well...
stuff like that. Like,
I don't... Like, his feats were never, like... grandiose to me, right? Like, he was never like a Yoda. But Yoda is always like, we know Yoda's really good at lightsaber combat, but when I think of like the two strongest members of the Jedi Order, it's Mace Windu and it's Yoda.
Mace Windu for lightsaber combat,
and then Yoda for pulling a droid carrier out stuff. Yeah.
Have you heard about how they retconned kyber crystals and rewrote them?
They mentioned them in Rogue One.
They were powering the Death Star.
They're establishing now in the comics, in the current run of comics right now. I think it's in the Darth Vader series that
I've been reading that. That's really good.
What they're getting into now is you cannot find red lightsaber crystals out anywhere.
No, they're synthetic.
Not even that. No. It's different now. The synthetic thing is completely retconned.
Oh, it is?
What they're doing now is you can only find them in like certain colors, in I think it's like blue and green.
Yeah.
But you can turn them red by manipulating the dark side energy in your body and corrupting them.
I see.
But by the same effect, they can also be purified, because they're claiming that Ahsoka Tano is using purified lightsaber blades and they're white.
Right.
What that implies, which makes me wonder now, is they say that Mace Windu mastered 7th form lightsaber combat and found a balance of using dark side power for light. Maybe his blue lightsaber turned purple when he figured out how to do that.
Well, I mean, I watched interviews going back like to when they introduced Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu, and
he only wanted it so he could see himself in the Clone War battle.
Well, yeah, that's basically it. He was like,
that was what he asked George Lucas.
Yeah, he was talking to George Lucas. He's like, why do they have to be red or blue? Because that's all they had, and he's
all
like...
All we have is red, blue, and green.
And he's like, well, what about a purple one? And he's like, you can have a purple lightsaber. Yeah. He basically just gave Samuel Jackson
what ask for another color, all right? Purple.
Just a canon...
It's just because he's Samuel L. Jackson. It has nothing to do with him being black. But like, just give him what he wants.
But like a canon explanation of it would be really cool if like he corrupted his once blue lightsaber into a purple one. Or whatever.
I like that definition better than mine. It sits better with me.
What does yellow lightsaber mean? You have like a urinary tract.
The yellow lightsabers were they were the Jedi Temple guards now, right?
Yellow represent the consulators.
Yes,
what were they called?
Healers and
Yeah.
There's guardians with blue lightsabers.
There's knights and there's
yep.
But it's not. There's something else too. From Rebels, Kanan Jarrus fights them, but they're not Jedi. They're not Sith. They wear like all white masks and white uniforms and shit, and they have yellow lightsabers.
Oh, it's like from the Old Republic. They're from like the Fallen Empire or something.
Something, but they're like guardians of the balance of the Force.
Oh, I remember
so
that also when they don't enter the temple. Yeah,
they don't claim allegiance to either side, but they kind of.
So they're like not gray Jedi. They're just like, we're not Jedi at all. We don't subscribe with any of your shit.
Yeah, we're not gray Jedi, but we're like gray Jedi if you drop the Jedi.
They're like the atheist Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna acknowledge the Force, but we abide by it.
The agnostic Jedi.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern Baptist Jedi.
Don't call it the Force.
We sing a lot.
Question: if you could have a type of light blade saber of any sort, what would you have?
Ooh.
I would love lightsaber pike. I think if somebody can use those, like, it's so cool.
The long handle, short blade.
Yeah, I love that look. That's so cool.
I'd have to go with like Darth Maul style.
Just a dual.
Yeah, double bladed.
Would you have like double end blade Maul or double end blade Inquisitor with that weird spinny?
But the circuit, like, so would you do like a one-handed double blade, or would you do the?
Oh, it'd be two. I'd be using
cool.
it like a bow staff.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Okay. There you go. Light tonfas, right?
Oh fuck yeah! Light nunchucks.
Yeah. Oh my god, no.
No. Honestly, probably just a base standard normal plain ass two-hander normal one bladed lightsaber.
Yeah.
I think
That's
they're
fair.
really cool, but I would probably pick like yellow or purple or something like that.
Yeah, nah.
Just because like blue and green are done to death.
I really like blue. Green never appeed to me, but I really like blue lightsabers. for
If I
some
had to
reason.
pick the option, I would choose green.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, fuck you.
Well,
No.
fine, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I'd have an orange one.
Fuck you all up.
Yeah.
I'd have red.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up is the only spoiler that I have heard about this movie.
Oh, great.
It's not even specific and it's not plot related, and I don't even know if it's true because I don't have the balls to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw there was a scan of I think it was an Italian magazine or something like that.
Italian man.
But it said that Rian Johnson, the director, implied that there could be a new lightsaber color in the movie, and that's what I wanted to get at when I was bringing up the idea of purifying or corrupting crystals, because Luke Skywalker wears a red crystal on a necklace around his neck in a lot of the promo material, and a lot of people are thinking that it's Darth Vader's. And he doesn't have his green lightsaber anymore because it got destroyed in the Death Star 2, apparently, according to people. So what the theories I've heard is that he still has it, and he will construct a new lightsaber and take Darth Vader's corrupted crystal, put it in it, and purify it.
And then have a white blade.
That would be beautiful.
That would be epic.
A white blade.
A white
Luke
blade.
Skywalker.
Like,
be epic.
Grandmaster cannot go any higher. This dude is the top Force user fucking ever.
Can we please just have like the Knights of Ren come in, all like 6 of them, and all of them die?
Yeah.
By
He's gonna
Luke,
kill all
by
of them.
Luke with a
Luke.
white lightsaber.
Yeah. He's gotta own shit like
No, better yet-
like that guy, the blind monk from Rogue One.
Oh, dude! I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. I am
Yeah.
one with the Force, and the Force is
He
with me.
made that. He
I
needs a
love
spin-off
that
movie.
guy. Yeah, he needs a spin-off. He was my favorite character in
I want to
Rogue
know
One.
how
Yeah.
he got blinded. I want to know how long he's been on Jeddah. I want to watch him kick ass for 2.5 hours.
What I really liked about that character too is they didn't say he was a Jedi. They said he found a Journal of the Wills and read that, and I thought that was so fucking cool that they brought that into the movies because like. That was originally what the Jedi were supposed to be like. That's what George Lucas wrote when he wrote the original novel. They weren't Jedi. They were like Jedi Bindu or something, and they followed the Journal of the Wills, and that was like the Force Bible.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a super interesting concept, and they completely abandoned it when they did the prequels.
Yeah, no, it was nice to see them bring that back.
Yeah.
I was really satisfied with him as a character. I mean, once he was announced for the movie, I knew I was going to love it just because I love all the stuff he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, he did very well.
he did.
He had a lot of
Kicked ass.
character. But let's go into. I guess we're just going to our final question here. We got about 10 minutes left. Feel free to go over. It's whatever. But
we could do this all night, and I would have.
oh yeah, maybe we'll do more someday. That'd be fun. But let's ask, what is your favorite Star Wars movie, and briefly say why, whether for personal reasons or just whatever it is. Cory, go ahead, start us off.
Honestly, 150%.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh, hot takes. Hot takes. Episode 3. Why do you like episode 3 the most?
Because I really love seeing the diversity of the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
I really love to see people burned alive and left, and left for dead.
I really
on
like
Mustafar.
memes.
Shut up! I have not subscribed to prequel memes on Reddit.
Oh, they're
what
so
you're
good.
talking about.
What are you...
I did not pick on more subreddit a couple nights ago with my comments about Rey not turning to the dark side because of social justice reasons that I will not get into here. I love episode 3 because I feel that the story that they were telling is so incredibly powerful, with how when people are in a very vulnerable position, like a character like Anakin is, where he's trying to do the right thing, he is very susceptible to being taken advantage of by people with ulterior motives.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like watching his fall and seeing him get corrupted and becoming Darth Vader and watching the Jedi Order, something so pristine, something that's so ancient, fall apart so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so powerful.
It's like that quote. What's that old quote from Batman? I think it's Batman. You die the hero.
Batman.
Yeah,
you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself the villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was Darth Vader, man.
No, I really like
so
that one
cool.
too.
That and he kills younglings.
Yeah.
What
Just gratuitous violence, whatever it is,
Exactly.
I take it.
Everybody gets fucking killed. The kids get killed. A pregnant chick gets choked. It's sheer anarchy.
I saw one meme where it was like him looking at the younglings and they were all wearing Santa hats. He's like, Master Skywalker, we ran out of wrapping paper for the gifts. What do we do? And he shows him pop out with a roll of wrapping paper.
I saw one. I think I saw it earlier today, and it was Mace Windu and Kit Fisto and all the other Jedi storming into Palpatine's office, and they're all wearing Santa hats, and they're like, we can't keep going with this Santa memes because reasons or whatever. And then Palpatine stands up and he goes, then it's cheer then, and he draws his lightsaber, except it's a big ass candy cane.
Nice.
It's so fucking stupid.
What about you, Mike? What is your favorite Star Wars movie or show, and why?
Yeah.
Any we're only doing cinematic or shows, like main canon.
Then it'd have to be Rebels.
Really?
Hands down.
Wow. Okay, real hot takes.
Wow, yeah.
Well, I was always into Clone Wars. I loved Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And
remember the Genndy Tarkovsky series, the original cartoon one?
Oh, yeah.
Where it was
still had
just
it on
straight
Netflix.
up, like, no conversation and violence.
Yeah, it almost looked like Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Same
That
creator,
was
so yeah.
good.
That was really good. But I definitely have to give it to, I mean, just because you and I both share an affinity for Grand Admiral Thrawn. What I love about him as a character is he wasn't part of the original Star Wars vision. A true fan created him, and he was adopted and became canon. And that story of a fan that wasn't originally part of the core team of creators. He's not George Lucas, you know. Zahn created him, right?
Yes.
So just for somebody like off the beaten path to create a character and have him so well received by fans that he was adopted into the show, that made it for me. Once I saw Thrawn in the show, I was like addicted. But I mean, even before him as a character, it was a great show.
Yeah, Rebels is a great show. I still haven't caught up fully. I hate myself for it. But every time I watch that, it's
says the guy that's never
deeply
seen a full
satisfying.
episode.
It's good. It I think it follows the same quote unquote problem as Clone Wars did, where it had to start off safe in the first season, and then as it started to get more popular, as it started getting traction.
Clone Wars got pretty gritty.
It did.
Yeah.
I've seen the first couple episodes, and I'm a giant Plo-koon fanboy.
Oh, I love
so
him. He has some good episodes.
it gives me everything I ever wanted and more, knowing
he's
that it's almost
Ahsoka's-
primarily focused on him.
Yeah, he's Ahsoka's like primary master before Anakin.
Yeah, and
He
I think
brought her
that's
to the
so
temple.
fucking cool.
The
He was always the character I would use when I played Jedi Power Battles.
Yeah, he's cool. I like Kit Fisto for the same reason.
Yeah, I remember ever
Yeah,
since
he
you're little,
rocks.
you always loved Kit Fisto, and that's how I remember Kit Fisto to this day.
The episode in that cartoon I was referencing when he was he brought a lightsaber underwater, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, this is incredible!
Yeah.
Like I didn't know you could do that.
I just liked him because he looked like a huge stoner. He had like a
He's got his space dreadlocks
Jamaican
and a
voice.
green lightsaber.
He just like shows up in the room with a cloud of smoke. You're like,
Well, actually,
for smoke. Everybody gets a little drowsy and raids the fridge.
There's a character he's in the prequel comics now. What the fuck is his name? But it's like a human dude, and he's got dreadlocks. And Quinlan Vos.
Oh, yeah.
He goes back and forth between the Jedi Order and being a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's another like stoner Jedi character. Basically.
That's funny.
But he's cool. He walks the line of the dark side, and I think he does fall to the dark side as well. He was one of those kind of cool characters that they just decided to bring in too many directions at once.
Oh,
Kind of like Cad Bane.
Yeah. Well, he was
I really liked him too.
Well, yeah, he's cool too. He reminded me of that. Remember the Oddworld games?
Yeah.
Remember they did that first-person shooter game with that like.
Yeah, Abe's Odyssey or no, the other one.
Well, they did one. It wasn't connected to Abe or the other character or Munch. It was like a third character, and he was like this alien dude, and he had a hat and he had two guns. And I saw Cad Bane, and I'm like, oh my god,
the
that's
Western one.
Rip-off.
It was the Western one, right?
Yeah.
Odd World. No.
Odd Town. No, I know it's.
We
I
all know
exactly,
it, but we can't think of it. But that's the vibe I always got from Cad Bane.
I can see why. I can see like flipping through issues of Game Informer and seeing the cover of that game.
On, like,
the alien gunslinger dude,
Yep.
like Cad Bane.
I think my favorite movie or show or anything, like sometimes it like turns into Clone Wars, but at the end of the day, it's actually Revenge of the Sith as well. Episode 3 is probably one of my favorites. I feel the most when I watch that movie, man.
Yeah.
And like I love the locations.
Serious case of the feels.
Oh god.
Dude, I love
hell yeah.
the story of Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan's like my second favorite character of all time.
Ooh, that's another thing that's hard to pinpoint.
My
girlfriend asked me what my favorite Star Wars character was a couple days ago, and I'm like, it changes weekly.
we have time. we have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character
Oh god.
in the expanded
Actually,
universe?
which
everything.
eras? Because I have favorite characters for different eras.
You gotta pick one.
If you're on a desert island, you could only take one with you, Cory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Kit Fisto with me because I know he can breathe water.
Yeah, there you
He
go.
will swim me back to mainland.
I'll go
Smart
first.
choice.
Just Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's always been my favorite. Like a lot of it's the reason that you said, like this character that wasn't supposed to be part of like the main canon or anything, and they just like, wow, he's that good. Yeah. I think it's very impressive to pull a character, to make a character seem intimidating in a world where people are throwing lightsabers around, picking up ships and throwing them, firing lasers and destroy planets and shooting lightning from their hands. And here comes this blue-skinned dude, walks by and says, I'm just smarter than all of you.
Yeah.
And proves it.
And proves it on multiple
again.
occasions.
And he appreciates art. It's like,
I was just gonna say, the
like,
best thing about Thrawn is he didn't give a fuck about anything else that was happening. He just wanted to travel the galaxy and collect art.
Yeah.
Like,
He's cutting down like all the street paintings on Lothal. He's like, wow, this is some really good graffiti. I'm going to hang it up in my office and figure out where the rebellion's starting by it.
Yeah.
So maybe if I keep collecting their art, I will find them.
It's just, it's such
He's just a boss.
Yeah, that's really
He's an awesome character. I mean, he's in close running for my first favorite just because of all the reasons you said. But if I have to give it to anybody, right now, I'd say my favorite character is probably Sabine Wren.
Really?
Just because the story that they're pitching with her in Rebels is awesome, and she's coming into her own as such a cool character. Plus, I mean, I'm a huge graffiti nerd. I love tagging, and just the fact that they wrote her that way made it really appealing to me.
She's a strong personality. Like, she's a very strong character that really pops out in that world.
Yeah,
that's
and
what makes
it's
it
nice to see a strong female warrior role.
Yeah.
I mean, you got that in the original trilogy. You didn't really see it too much in the prequel trilogy. I mean, you got like Queen Amidala kind of like owning shit.
Episode 2 a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, Leia really kind of kicked ass for her time.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
they didn't have any female roles like her back in the 70s, like dropping stormtroopers,
choking out fucking giant sled monsters in a bikini.
Sexy ass bikini.
Talking shit to the badass good guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Female Mandalorian. What more do you want out of life?
That
exactly.
Leia gave us the "you came in that thing."
Yeah. And then what about you?
Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, come on.
Not
How
for the
can you
reasons
not?
you would think, though. I know they've been
Because he's got a cool cape.
because Disney fucking destroyed it and took it apart and everything. But one of the more towards the end of the Dark Horse comics that they were doing with Darth Vader, I read something recently where they're reprinting them now as graphic novel series, but it's primarily focused on Darth Vader like in days after the end of Revenge of the Sith, when the Emperor is just sending him all reaches of the galaxy, like,
Hunting
dude,
down.
I need you to hunt down the Jedi.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones he kills is Plo-koon's niece,
Yeah.
Shakun,
Yep.
and that was fucked up because then after that, from that point on, he started having flickers of regret of killing all the Jedi and realizing he fucked up and now he's a slave to the Emperor.
Yeah.
And he met this character, I don't remember her name in the storyline, but
But
it was
I'm
another
in too
female
deep.
Jedi, and she, like, dug into his memories and she was making apparitions of Padme appear to him.
Aw.
And then he started having nightmares. And
Damn. There's a
Dude.
line, girl.
Yeah.
but what sold me as making Anakin like 100% number one, my favorite character, is it showed this scene where Darth Vader took his armor off and he was in that stasis thing, like the tank, and he's just floating there and he's asleep, and he has this dream that it's like 20 years in the future after Padme has the baby that he knew she was going to have. And it was a young boy, and he names that boy Jin after Qui-Gon. So then he would have had a son named Jin Skywalker. And in his dream, he had conquered Palpatine, and he was going to be the first Jedi Master to become the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic.
Aw.
And just thinking about the fact that Anakin dreams of that, and that's his happy place, aside from the flip side and the reality of him losing everything and being a slave to the Emperor, there's so much tragedy and beauty in that.
It just makes that last decision of him picking up Palpatine and throwing him into the second Death Star all the more like gratifying.
Yeah, it gives it so much weight.
Yeah. I was really satisfied with the comic run they did on Vader. Like you said, it's nice to see him fleshed out so he's not just like robotic.
Yeah, you see the guy behind
non-human.
the mask. in it.
Yeah.
Plus, you see, I believe it's in the series where that amazing page of when he's crash landed and all there's like 100 rebels surrounding him with guns.
He
and
says
they're-
that badass phrase.
Yeah, he's just man. What does he say?
He says something like fucking awesome. He basically is. Oh, I can't even remember. He walks into a situation. He's like, well, shit. But in the most fucking like incredible way, he like says like, if I'm gonna die, you are all going to die too. Basically.
Yeah, hold on, I got it here. Oh yeah, yeah. He says you are surrounded, and there just shows like a whole battalion of rebels around him. And he says, "All I am surrounded by is fear and dead men," and he just ignites his lightsaber.
God
and he makes it out because he lives. So
Yeah.
you're just like, fuck,
And
man.
that's something that's so cool about that comic run too, is you watch his humanity crumble.
Yeah.
Like he has these dreams and stuff like that of his past life and what he wished it could have been, and as he keeps going deeper and deeper and doing more tasks for the Empire, you watch that like final glimmer of hope crush. He turns
great.
into a vicious killing machine, and I think that's really cool to watch that decline.
All right, well, let me try and steer this in another direction. What would it take for you guys to leave that theater tomorrow night with a smile on your face? What would you like to see above all else if you had complete creative control of that 2.5 hours or however long it's going to turn out to be? What direction would you take it in from here?
That's a good question. I want to see not a remake of Empire Strikes Back.
Fuck yeah.
Just if I can leave that theater saying that was not Empire Strikes Back, I will be happy.
All right, fair enough. What about you, Cory?
I'm gonna be greedy. I want a Luke Skywalker and Snoke lightsaber duel.
Oof.
All right. What about you, Mike?
Well, all those are good suggestions. I'm gonna have to stick with you guys on what you said so far, but also for me to truly be satiated.
Jar Jar, bring him back.
Yeah, bring back Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Seriously though, I think they need to really explore Rey on a much deeper level than they have, and they need to be darker. They need to bring it as dark as, if not darker than Rogue One.
Yeah.
That was satisfying to see. I mean, because most of us that are into this are adults now. We've been watching Star Wars has been around since the 70s, so it's got a very mature audience as much as an immature audience. So I mean, you can keep it dark and gritty and at the same time PG or G or PG-13. Like
the thing about it now too is we are not the target generation now.
No, we're not.
Like, I know your son's a giant Star Wars geek.
Yeah,
and it's because of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like how I became a geek because of my father before me. You know, like it's so typical of this thing, and it's such a beautiful thing that we have something we can hold and pass down.
Yeah,
like that. So like they have to keep a very clean balance to.
I can understand that. You know, you gotta keep everybody happy. You know, but it was nice. Like Rogue One wasn't too dark for my son. You know, my son is 7, turning 8. So like for him, I'm trying to make sure that he gets into the story and understands what's going on just as much as like he appreciates the special effects.
Space battles.
Oh, I think he will in time. Because, you know, when we were 7 and 8, we were watching Attack of the Clones and shit like, yes, explosions! 100 Jedi are fighting a whole bunch of, like, battle droids and shit. And,
I just kept hitting pause on Leia in the bikini, so
to try to program him.
What's going on?
So when you see Padme get scratched by the tiger thing in the back, she's like, ah! And I'm like...
And then her tits are pregnant.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. What's happening?
There's a strange stirring in my loins.
I was just going to say, what did I just feel in my pants?
Yeah, I just hear in my pants... yeah, anyway, but...
Still have a weird thing for Padme.
We're about out of time. So on that note.
One last thing, though. Let's steer this in the opposite direction of what you asked. What would it take to ruin Episode 8 for you?
Don't kill Luke.
Yeah, don't kill Luke.
Just don't kill Luke. I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, nobody wants to see Luke die.
You can pass the torch a different way than killing off everyone else.
Yeah.
If it's going to echo Empire Strikes Back, we need to have a certain character in the party be implied that he's dead. Whether or not he comes back or whatever, it has to follow the Han Solo frozen in carbonite route.
Yeah, Finn frozen with a back injury.
But that's
how they ended the
if they hypothetically kill
they're very
Luke,
sloppy.
Yeah.
Like kill Luke, quote unquote, but then he comes back and
it's like such a super powerful Force ghost that he can manipulate matter on our level.
That's the other thing too that I want to see happen that I know they're probably not going to, and it would piss off purists a lot. But I want Force Ghost Anakin to show up, or Force Ghost Obi, or Force Ghost Qui-Gon. Like I want Force Ghost.
I want Hayden Christensen to do something
like a
cool.
Big party.
I want Hayden Christensen, Anakin, Force Ghost. And my dad would strangle me if he heard me say that.
All right.
Yoda's filling the punch bowl with Bacardi.
Yeah.
all the ghosts are drunk.
So
I want the prequels to be connected to the new sequel trilogy in some sort of way that brings everything all together and makes this all cohesive instead of all the new writers completely ignoring the prequel trilogy. I think it's really disrespectful to the original creation.
Yeah, they had a whole galaxy to go through. Just use it.
I guess we're gonna find out soon enough.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for the Keep Tappin X podcast, a very special Star Wars episode with my guests Cory, Croft, Mike G. So, do you guys have anything you want to plug before I close out?
I make a lot of music. I currently run Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms, and this year alone, I have put out one full album called Hope and Other Lies, and I just put out an EP this month called Affection Rabbit.
Where can you find that?
You can find that on YouTube. Just look up Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms.
iTunes. Are you on iTunes?
No, I'm not actually.
You're on Bandcamp though, right?
I'm on Bandcamp.
You're on Bandcamp.
And I am on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
And I am on Facebook, so you can find me and all my links there.
All right, you got it. Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Check that out. Well, Mike, anything right now?
Nope, nothing right now.
That's fine.
Still working in my little bat cave.
Yeah.
So I'll have more details to follow.
Yeah, we don't worry. This won't be the last time you see these two guys around the podcast. So thanks for joining, you two. And yeah, we're gonna go see Star Wars.
Hell yeah! May the Force be with you.
And also with you.